In the county of East Lothian stands a hill called Traprain Law. This area is steeped in history. At the base of the law is a standing stone, known as the Lothstone, an almost 2.5 metre monolith that is said to mark the grave of King Loth. According to legend, Traprain Law was the cliff the mother of St Mungo, Thinnaw, was thrown from when her father King Loth discovered she was pregnant. Thinnaw was only saved by divine providence. The site was also the home of a great fort and is the location of the largest Roman treasure hoard discovered anywhere outside of the Roman Empire. The Law and the Lothstone, however, have an interesting supernatural connection. Welcome to the bi-weekly podcast that explores all that is myth, legend, and folklore in Scotland. Join me, Ryan, in discovering tales from Galloway to Shetland, and from the Hebrides to Peterhead. This is Finding Folklore. One winter's evening, Tam was heading home from his local public house. He had had a few drinks more than he probably should have, and decided his wife wouldn't be too happy with him, so he'd best get home. Walking home, he decided to take a shortcut past the law. When he saw, coming from the general direction of the Lothstone, unusual, Tam thought, as there were no houses near there, and it did not look like it was light of candle or fire. So he decided to go and take a closer look. Tam made his way towards the light, slowly and quietly, worried that whoever was there would not appreciate him spying on them. Eventually, he stopped walking and began to crawl to make as little noise as possible. And that's when he saw it. Tam couldn't believe his eyes. He hid in the bushes and watched a Faerie Tournament. Fairies of all shapes and sizes danced and sang and played pipes. They wrestled, played Highland games, and ate food of all sorts, while drinking as much as Tam would have loved to. He couldn't believe what he was witnessing. He couldn't believe the variety of fairy he had saw, and he couldn't believe that no one would believe him. Atop the Lothstone was a diamond-like light that caught the moon and shone in all different directions and lit the fairies' games. Tam watched for a while, then, worried he would get caught, backed out of the bush, crawled his way till he felt it was safe to walk, and then ran home. He ran as fast as his legs would take him. He got home out of breath and unable to speak. "You're drunk again, Tam," his wife said. Tam couldn't very well argue, but he tried to explain once he caught his breath back. "I've seen a Faerie Tournament," said Sam, "next to the law, next to the Lothstone. You won't believe it unless you see it with your own eyes. Come." It took a while to convince, but eventually Tam's wife and family came with him. They all walked from Tam's cottage towards Traprain Law, but they weren't as quiet as Tam was. One sneezed and another stood on a twig, and with that, the dancing light vanished. Tam tried to stop everyone and listened, and they could hear people in the background trying to quiet themselves. "Don't move," said Tam. "Maybe the light will come back." But one of them did move. With that, they heard the noises of little people, hundreds of them, scurrying about. By the time they made it to the Lothstone, there were no fairies. There was no diamond-type light atop the stone. There was nothing, except hundreds of little footprints surrounding the stone, going off in all directions. Tam told his story to anyone who would listen from that day forth, of the Faerie Tournament he had witnessed at Traprain Law, but no one believed him. They all believed Tam liked to drink a little too much, and it had ruined his brain. Every night, when Tam went home from his local pub, he walked past Traprain Law and spied on the Lothstone, hoping to one day cross the Faerie Tournament again. Let me know in the comments what sort of things you think would take place at a fairy tournament. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And join me for our next episode in 2 weeks' time. Until then, may the devil walk behind you. Bye for now.